Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Monday Night Raw results and your WWE main event. This week's episode is on February 25th, 2019, birthdays. February 24th, Shinsuke Nakamura, he was born 1980. Corey Graves, 1984. February 25th, birthdays. Sean O'Hare, 1971. DJ Gabriel, 1983. Maria Kanellis, 1982. DJ Gabriel is PJ Black, TNA. Maria Kanellis, 1982. And the Nature Boy himself, Ric Flair. Woo! He was born 1949. Episodes of History Channel's Night Fight, hosted by former WWE superstar Christian, will feature pro wrestler Merrick Brave. Brave will be one of the 6 modern-day knights using old-school weaponry that is vying to win $10,000 in brutal combat. Brave is currently the head trainer at the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy, which he co-owns with Seth Rollins. Night Fight airs at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 Central, on the History Channel, and you can check out a full preview at this link. Fight TV announced the debut of Fight Fest over WrestleMania weekend in April. The Fight Fest will feature over 20 live telecasts, starting with WrestlePro on Wednesday, April 3rd, and includes big events like Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling, G1 Supercard, Impact Wrestling, United We Stand, WWN's Super Show, Mercury Rising, WrestleCon Super Show, and House of Glory's Culture Clash 2019. While the pay-per value of these events is $280, you can get it for a limited time only at a price of $119.99 through March 11th. Pre-order it. The events are also currently available for pre-sale on an event-by-event basis. The complete Fight Fest lineup, I did not get the link. Just Google it. AEW today announced a partnership with Kulture City, which is a non-profit organization that creates acceptance and inclusion for all individuals with unique abilities. It was noted that the Double or Nothing event on May 25th in Las Vegas will be the first sensory inclusive wrestling event in history, which would allow people with autism and other sensory needs the ability to experience the show. Being the Elite episode number 140 can be seen at this link. Several new signings have been announced for the WWE NXT UK brand. Jazzy Gabbert, Kaylee Ray, Aija Rukaber, Oliver Sauter, and Jay Melrose. Fan favorite Aija Dragunov made his NXT UK debut at the weekend TV tapings in Coventry, England. He defeated Ashton Smith in a dark match. Ray, a former Mae Young Classic competitor, also worked the tapings in a match against Isla Dawn. Gabbert, another fan favorite, known as the Alpha Female, has been trying to get signed with WWE since 2017 Mae Young Classic. She and Ray appeared back at the NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool event in January. Adding to the speculation on their signings, Melrose also known as Primate, teamed with the Wild Boar of the Weekend TV tapings to face Sam Stoker and Lewis Howley. Wrestling Inc. has confirmed that former TNA World Heavyweight Champion James Storm was backstage at Raw in Atlanta at State Farm Arena. Tonight's Raw did feature a birthday celebration for Ric Flair, while Storm does have history with Flair in TNA, as we're both part of the Fortune stable. The impression that we got is that he was just visiting friends since he lives in the area and won't be appearing on the show. Storm was also backstage at a Raw taping last April in Atlanta. As we first exclusively reported this afternoon, Sting, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and Shawn Michaels are also at Raw for Flair Celebration. Paul Heyman, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte are also reported backstage. Of course, Charlotte's there for her dad, but didn't have anything to do with the birthday celebration. Storm has maintained a low profile since leaving Impact Wrestling in January 2018. While he was wrestling at some independent shows, he told Busted Open Radio last September that he is still interested in a WWE run. Triple H basically told me in 2015, look, get your life straight and then get yourself in the best shape you can. And in 2 years, let's see if we can do business again. Now, if you follow me on social media, you can see I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my entire career, Storm said. And it's just one of those things where it comes down to basically kind of want to prove it to myself as well. WWE will be releasing a new documentary on WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair in the near future. WWE Network cameras were backstage for Monday Night Raw at State Farm Arena in Atlanta to film a lot of material with the Nature Boy as the company celebrated his 70th birthday, according to PW Insider. WWE conducted sit-down interviews with various superstars and legends on Monday and filmed a significant amount of other footage. Unknown what it is. Haven't had any luck in any details, what I just gave you. Also noted, special names brought into Raw for Ric Flair's birthday celebration were Hall of Famers Sting, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Shawn Michaels. Besides regular roster members, others who have been interviewed were Batista and WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle. Batista was brought into attack Flair for the kickoff to the feud with Triple H, but the two obviously have a friendly history together. As seen on Raw, former WCW World Heavyweight Champion David Arquette was also at the show and was also backstage. Flair tweeted a photo of his wife, Wendy Barlow, and Arquette. And Flair commented, at Ric Flair Nature Boy. My good friend at David Arquette flew in for my WWE birthday show and brought me in this fun gift. Love it. Woo! Think if I have the picture of it, I will post it. But back into that section. WWE posted this video of Carl Anderson sharing a too sweet moment with his mother at the Weekend Live event in Columbia, South Carolina. Weekend event saw Anderson and Luke Gallows defeat Sanity in tag team matches. All Elite Wrestling Executive VP Cody Rhodes recently spoke with Wrestling Inc. as part of a wincly podcast during the discussion, and you can catch it at that link there for you. He revealed that he will be traveling with fellow AEW higher-ups to begin scouting out stadiums as potential venues for AEW events. Rhodes also touched on the pending television deals for AEW and the company's mindset with making future announcements. And those are the Young Bucks and Chris Jericho. Y2J. Rhodes admitted to Wrestling Inc.'s Nick Hoffman that he's harboring some guilt after the astounding demand for pre-sale tickets for AEW Double or Nothing. He explained that there's a soundbite floating around that recounts his almost guarantee that each AEW fan will get their hands on some tickets. Rhodes is nevertheless excited by the turnout that he thinks it opened the company's eyes to the potential for future venues. I actually felt a little bad because, I felt great about the sellout and the first ever same-day sellout in Vegas for wrestling ever. But I actually feel a little bad because there's this soundbite of me that the night before talking about the pre-sale code where I said, and I can almost guarantee you'll all get tickets, Rhodes recalled, and and I was just excited. And I'm so glad I said almost, because I did not anticipate the sellout. I was getting a live box office update from our market rep, and I did not anticipate 43,000 people signing in with the pre-sale code. So when we put that into a little bit of perspective, most fans don't just buy a single ticket. Rhodes continues. If you scrub out some of the maybe scalpers, and you scrub out some of the troll accounts or burners or whatever we call them, still, let's say that was only 30,000. Again, most fans don't buy a single ticket. It just was really flattering and eye-opening. And I think if maybe it's something that we're looking at in the future, we want to run within our means, but maybe our means are a little bit more than I anticipated. Although it's become more clear how successful a larger event may be for AEW, the focus of their upcoming Jacksonville show will be more centered around gun violence and charities pertaining to that. After Jacksonville, Rhodes is excited to see if AEW can ultimately get in the numbers range of a WrestleMania or Super Bowl crowd. He even went as far as to reveal that he'll be traveling to stadiums with fellow AEW management to begin scouting out potential venues. At the end of the day, Tony Khan and his fellow financial advisors are guaranteeing that all business ventures stay in the guidelines Khan has established. So it's possibly he may be going to that stadium that Khan owns. Because the Jacksonville show has a strong charity element, it's not about making money, Rhodes explained. It's about helping the victims of gun violence and those affected by it. And that charity, hopefully, will be able to announce soon. That partnership, really, for that show, I'm not sure if we're looking at maybe more down the road. To be frank, I have a couple site visits in the next few weeks that are stadiums, so it doesn't mean anything. There's no promises, no contracts, nothing like that. Just me and my business partners checking out a few spots. That would be really exciting to host that many people, Rhodes said. I mean, that would be a dream come true to have our 40,000 plus. When you get between that 40 and 80 range, a WrestleMania-like event has, that Super Bowl event like has, that's something special. But I know that we don't want to. We really got to do this right. We got to crawl before we can walk, and we got to walk before we can run. And you're seeing companies that have a lot of financial backing take shop, and then they shouldn't take. So we're just going to try to be careful. I think people think, oh, there's four wrestlers running this thing, as Rhodes continued, and then there's Tony. He's the only one. I don't think they realize that Tony has flanked his companies, all of his companies, with very smart people. Some of the people who have been on loan to us from the Jacksonville Jaguars are phenomenal and just top of their field. The Money Financial Strategy, DTM Financial Strategy, that guy isn't letting us spend any money that we don't have a right to. We're being careful. How many shows AEW is expected to put on each year is still being decided. However, Rhodes explained that their goal is to annually produce many shows. He revealed that another show will be following shortly after the Jacksonville charity event takes place. It all depends. There are some larger variables that we're talking about, Rhodes stated. The idea, though, I don't think I'm speaking too far out. The idea is a full company. Now, its business model might be different than pro wrestling as a whole, but this is a full company. So we like to run many shows. Right now, we have Double or Nothing on the books, and that Jacksonville show will follow sometime swiftly behind it. Other than that, I drew an announcement that are yet to come if I said any more. Rhodes touched on the buzzworthy topic of AEW's potential TV deals, mentioning that a major TV deal remains an important aspect of AEW's ongoing exposure. Rhodes expounded only a bit further, claiming that their potential deal could create a massive shift in the pro wrestling industry. He is adamant that AEW continues revealing each announcement in a calculated manner. I can't talk about it, but I know that I was quoted as saying, not by you guys, that the TV deal was not important. And I think that in the context I was speaking, I was talking about how important social media and do-it-yourself brands are compared to the traditional TV medium, as Rhodes explains. But I also, let's be serious, major TV is a huge thing, and it would be a massive shift in the pro wrestling industry. It would be a change the world-like move, but I can't talk about any pending TV deals. A lot of the information that is out there is very accurate about what we're seeking to do and how frequently we are seeking to do it, as Rhodes said. But I don't want to discourage any future partners. I can say that people have been really calculated about how we roll out announcements. We want to be proper. We can't just stand out on the podium in Jacksonville and say, hey, here's the entire business model. Here's all of our plans. Here's X amount of money. We can't do that. I know the business of the business is very entertaining, but I think if people put their trust in us, like they have, we won't let them down. AEW presents Double or Nothing on May 25th from the MGM Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Tickets are sold out, but the event will be available to stream on Fight. Cody's full weekly interview can be heard in the embedded player. During Cody's interview, he discussed how he is recovering from surgery, the decision to launch AEW, and the record-breaking sellout in Vegas. Arn Anderson's reported release, his friendship with newly released WWE superstar Ty Dillinger, and AEW may handle developmental system. The latest on AEW's TV deal, Billy Gunn as the first producer and more. Hall of Famer Booker T was speaking on his Heated Conversations podcast at this link about details surrounding Ric Flair's surprise 70th birthday party that occurred in Atlanta this past weekend. Not on Monday Night Raw, the actual party itself. During the discussion, Booker recounted the various interactions that AEW's Chris Jericho had while he was attending the celebration, all of which were apparently civil. Booker noted that AEW is solely meant to be an alternative outlet for pro wrestling fans instead of some competitive product to go against WWE programming. He believes that AEW and promotions similar to it are ultimately just trying to create new platforms to give exposure to their deserving talent. It's great to have something, an alternative. It's not a competition. It's an alternative. Booker emphasized, you may not want to watch this game that's on this channel, but you might want to watch that one. You know what I mean? Both games are going to get good ratings because that's how many people there is in the world. So to be able to have an alternative is great. To be able to have so many new young talent be seen and to be able to make their legacy, put it down as far as they want to leave it. That's really what it's all about. I don't think it's about competing. Despite his affiliate as one of AEW's top stars, Chris Jericho, and the other guests attending Ric Flair's 70th birthday party were reportedly getting along just fine. In addition to Booker, Triple H, Shane McMahon, Charlotte Flair, Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles were among the WWE stars that attended. Booker mentioned that there was no conflict between Jericho and Triple H or any other attending WWE higher-ups for that matter. Chris Jericho was at the party, Triple H was at the party, and we're all sitting there talking together, and there ain't no heat, nor animosity, or anything like that, Booker explained. I really think it's enough room to go around. And that's what Chris was talking about as far as what he's bringing to the table, as well from a backstage perspective, and really trying to push this to a dimension where we have not seen in the wrestling business perhaps ever. And that right there, when you do it that way, you never know how big it's going to get. While Flair's surprise birthday party was this past Friday, two-time Hall of Famer turned 70 years old. As Raw from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia will be featured with a 70th birthday celebration all throughout the show. WWE take the following matches from Atlanta for the main event. Thanks to Robert Gunyer for the spoilers on Wrestling Inc. Posted the news. Razor with Jake Maverick defeated No Way Jose. Apollo Crews defeated EC3. Raw opened up with a video package with highlights from Roman Reigns' last WWE appearance in October 2018, where he announced his second battle with leukemia and relinquished the WWE title, Universal title. We're live from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, as Roman makes his return to a big pop. Mike Rome does the introductions. Reigns takes the time getting to the ring, greeting fans at ringside. Fans continue cheering for the big dog. We see some fans getting emotional in the crowd. Reigns enters the ring as a loud welcome back chant starts up. Reigns says he will probably say this a lot, but he wants to start off by saying thank you. You are welcome chant came out from the crowd. Reigns says he really misses the fans and there's no fan base like this. Fans continue with the chants and cheers. If this is your yard, chant starts up from the crowd this time. Reigns says he's ad-libbing some tonight, and he used to say that this is his yard, but now it's our yard. Reigns says he's always been a man of faith and has always believed God was looking out for him, but he was scared and insecure before his leukemia announcement last year. He wasn't sure if he wanted to share that secret with the world. Reigns says he was scared to tell everyone because he didn't know how they would react. But by the time he got home, between the texts to the posts on social media and everywhere else, people found a way to get in touch with him and express their support. Reigns says it was completely overwhelming and God sent. Reigns says it wasn't just WWE fans. It felt like everyone was surrounding him with their support. Reigns says so many people prayed for him that God's voicemail was full to the max. He says that is how strong it felt to be surrounded by everyone's love and grace. Reigns says he can do it. He can do anything with that type of strength and love. Reigns then says the support gave him new life, strength, and purpose. He talks about how, as a young superstar, it's important to stake your claim and win titles, and that's still important to him. But he's focused on being able to get in the ring each night, and if he's able to do that, he's going to use that giant global WWE platform to raise awareness and to support those who are in need, just like he was. Fans interrupt with another Roman chant. Reigns says, "We advertised this appearance as an update, so let's get to the update." Fans pop and start a yes movement chant. Reigns said he was going to swing for the fences when he announced his diagnosis. When he did better than that, he hit a home run. Reigns announced that he is now in remission. Fans go wild at the news. Reigns then announced that the big dog is back. Fans pop again. Fan chant, welcome back to Reigns. Reigns thanks everyone again and says he loves them. Michael Coleslaw welcomes us to the show and welcomes Reigns back. Coleslaw then joined in by Renee Young and Corey Graves. Reigns' music hits as he makes his exit from the ring, looking out at the crowd. And WrestleMania 35 side, he stops to greet fans at ringside. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Michael Coleslaw will be leaving WWE very soon. Probably after WrestleMania. Just my prediction. Announces hype the 70th birthday celebration for Ric Flair. Also the Riot Squad versus Ronda Rousey and Natalya. Music hits for Seth Rollins as Roman Reigns makes his exit. The former brothers in the Shield greet each other on the ramp and hug as we go to commercial. Ricochet and Aleister Black versus Revival. Back for the break. Aleister Black makes his way out. Ricochet was out next as we get a sidebar promo video for him. Raw Tag Team Champions, Revival, Scott Dawson, and Dash Wilder were also out for this non-title match. Revival attacks before the match, sending Ricochet out of the ring. Black fights him off as Ricochet comes flying back at his opponents. Revival gets sent back out to the floor. Black and Ricochet dive back out at separate points, taking Dawson and Wilder back down on the outside. We'll go back to commercial. Back from the break, the match is underway as the Revival keeps control. Ricochet fights out of a hold, while Wilder and Black tags in. Black unloads a Wilder with strikes. Dawson runs in, but gets dropped with a kick. Black with more offense and 2 count on Wilder. And we see Chad Gable and Bobby Roode backstage watching the match. Wilder and Black go at it. Dawson tags in, but Black fights off of a double team with a knee. Black and Dawson trade pin attempts. Dawson drops Black with a big DDT out of nowhere. Black kicks out of 2, and then again. Dawson lifts Black up on the shoulders, and Wilder goes to the top, but Ricochet knocks him off. Ricochet leaps off the apron with a running moonsault and takes Dash down on the floor again. Black and Dawson go at it. Black catches Dawson with a black mask out of nowhere for the pin and the win. Number 1 contenders, they are. After the match, Ricochet and Black celebrate the win as Black's music hits, and we go to replays. Charlie Caruso. No, that's right. No. Good Chad Gable, Bobby Roode, are you champion? No. No, they're not. Alright, back to the show. Back to results. Charlie Caruso is backstage with Constipated Corbin. Now, you know I nicknamed him Constipated Constable Corbin. She asked about previously mocking Roman Reigns' leukemia diagnosis and if he will regret those comments when he sees Reigns now. Corbin says Charlie is desperate for a story and he never said those things. She offers to show the footage. He says some of the things he said were out of context. It was an emotional night for everyone, and he was under the stress of dealing with both jobs he had at the time. He says no one, not even Reigns, can understand what he was doing, what he was going through. She asked if he thinks his issues were bigger than Reigns' leukemia. Corbin says for Reigns' sake, he just hopes they don't cross paths. As Constipated One walks off. We see Dasha Fuentes backstage talking to WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels for an interview. We see Johnny Gargano walking up to greet Michaels. Elias is ready for another performance in the arena. Back to commercial. Back from the break, we see tweets from various stars on Ric Flair's 70th birthday. We also get a happy birthday video from Hall of Famer Snoop Dogg. We go to the ring and Elias starts playing, but he's immediately interrupted by the music of Lacey Evans. Evans makes her way out and shows off. Music hits again, and out comes Dean Ambrose to the stage with a mic. Ambrose says, all of this celebrating tonight hasn't been a good mood, reminiscing about the past. Ambrose says he feels good, and when he feels good, he's dangerous. Ambrose wants to issue a challenge for a rematch from last week with Drew McIntyre, but this time he wants a no DQ match. Elias starts playing his guitar as Ambrose enters the ring. Ambrose asks if Elias is trying to play him off the stage like the Academy Awards or something. Elias takes shots at Atlanta and then Ambrose. Ambrose says he's actually a fan of Elias and he came out to request a song. Ambrose asks Elias if he knows several bands and songs, including Dirty Deeds. This leads to Elias turning to swing the guitar at Ambrose. Ambrose avoids it and drops Elias with the Dirty Deeds. Ambrose makes his exit as the sirens start up. Elias is recovering in the ring when the music hits. And out comes the Wyatt Squad. Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, and Ruby Wyatt. Back to commercial. Back for the break, we see Dasha interviewing more stars on the red carpet for Ric Flair's birthday. She's talking to the Hall of Famer Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, which I didn't see that segment. Natalya and Ronda versus the Wyatt Squad. We go to the ring and Natalya makes her way out. Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey was out next As the Riot Squad looks on, the bell rings and Sarah Logan slams Natalya to start. Logan unloads on Natalya and mounts her with forearms against the ropes as the referee warns her. Ruby awaits for a tag as Liv Morgan looks on from ringside. Rousey reaches for a tag and has words with Logan. Ruby tags in and keeps Natalya down. Ruby with a kick to the back and a 2 count. Natalya powers up and rams Riot back in the corner. Rousey tags in and they double suplex. They hit a double suplex on Riot. Liv gets on the apron for a distraction. Rousey turns around to Riot, dropping her with an STO off a distraction. Riot takes Rousey to the corner and works her over. Fan chant for Becky. Logan and Riot with more double teaming. And tags in the corner as Rousey tries to make it to Natalya. Rousey knocks Logan off the apron and clotheslines Riot. Natalya tags in with a clothesline to Riot. They go back and forth. Natalya fights Logan off from the apron and drops Riot. Liv gets involved, but Rousey and Natalya corner her on the floor. Natalya holds her up for a reversal of the heart attack on the floor. Riot gets sent into the ring, but Logan levels Natalya on the outside before she can re-enter. We go back to commercial. Back from the break, Riot has Natalya grounded. Riot keeps control for a pair of pin attempts. Riot takes Natalya back to their corner, and in comes Logan for some punishment. In the corner, Natalya calls for a tag, but Logan stops her and drops a big elbow. Logan yells out to the crowd and poses over Natalya. Logan with a standing submission now as the fans start rallying for Natalya. Natalya finally makes a hot tag to Rousey. Rousey unloads on Logan and tosses her around. Rousey unloads with strikes in the corner now. Riot runs in and attacks from behind, but Rousey works them over, but both over in the corner now. Rousey knocks Liv off the apron. Rousey drops Logan again, but Riot makes the save just in time. Riot tosses Natalya out of the ring. Natalya drops Riot with a discus clothesline on the outside. Rousey scoops Logan for the Piper's Pit and hits in the middle of the ring. Rousey goes to make the finish, but Becky Lynch comes through the crowd, entering through the timekeeper's area. Becky unloads on Natalya with a crutch at ringside for a disqualification. So Natalya and Rousey won by disqualification after the bell. Rousey runs over and grabs Becky's crutch, and security and officials from backstage run down to keep them apart. Rousey drops security members in the ring as producer Adam Pearce pleads with her. Jamie Noble and Philly try to keep Becky back at ringside. Rousey gets out of the ring, goes for Becky, but police officers are getting involved. Officials hold Rousey back at ringside as officers haul Lynch up the ramp. As she's been escorted to jail. We go to commercial. Back from the break, we see Rousey helping Natalya up the ramp. Rousey runs back to the ring and asks for a mic. She calls out WWE Chairman Vince McMahon to the ring to give her the match with Becky Lynch. Music hits and out comes WWE Chief Brand Officer Stephanie McMahon with a mic. Rousey interrupts Stephanie as soon as she tries to talk and says she knows Stephanie was sent by Vince, but she just wants Becky reinstated for the match. Stephanie says reinstating Becky is the least of her concerns right now, as she just saw Becky being loaded into a police car. Stephanie says Becky has been arrested. Rousey tells Stephanie to go tell her daddy to drop the charges and reinstate Becky. Stephanie says it's just not that easy, and they're already determined Rousey's opponent. Charlotte Flair, fans boo. Stephanie knows how that's not what Rousey wanted, and that's not how she wanted it to go down either. Stephanie says Becky is a victim of her own actions. Becky did this to herself. Stephanie says Becky is on the road to jail instead of the road to WrestleMania 35. Stephanie is in the ring now. Rousey says this is best for business. This is what the fans want. Lynch versus Rousey. Rousey tells Stephanie to think about what this means to her own legacy and to her $3. Stephanie apologizes, but the answer is a hard no. Fans boo again. Rousey gets in the way of Stephanie, making her exit. Rousey says that's not good enough. She demands Becky be reinstated. Stephanie gets upset now, reminding Rousey she works for Stephanie. Stephanie says Vince was right. Rousey and Becky are cut from the same cloth, but no one is bigger than WWE. Rousey says Stephanie doesn't control her. She's not one of these others that keeps getting just enough to keep coming back. Rousey says she is not Stephanie's worker. Rousey says Stephanie has made the title that is just a gaudy accessory that's not even her style. Rousey can't stand for this. Rousey says Vince always talks about making the right decision. Well, now is the time for him to make the right decision. Rousey lays the title down in front of Stephanie and walks out of the ring. Stephanie looks on as Rousey marches to the back. After apparently dropping the title, we'll go to commercial. And she did state, well, if you're not going to give me the match, circumstances will apply. So, there's your possibility. She could be gone from WWE already before WrestleMania. And then we go to commercial. Back from the break, we get a pre-recorded video from WWE Hall of Famer Stone Cold Steve Austin wishing Ric Flair a happy 70th birthday. Coleslaw shows us a replay of what just happened with Ronda and Stephanie. Cameras cut backstage to Stephanie holding the Raw Women's title when Triple H walks up. They both seem unsecure about what just happened in the ring. We go to the ring, and Jinder Mahal is out with the Singh brothers. Jinder takes a shot at WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair and says he's ever accomplished. Jinder says the biggest travesty is that he wasn't invited to tonight's birthday celebration. Jinder says you can't have a party without the modern-day Maharaja. Jinder says he just issued a backstage challenge to any superstar attending Flair's birthday celebration. Jinder waits for his opponent. Music hits. Out comes Hall of Famer Kurt Angle to a pop as the You Suck chants start up for the crowd. So we get Kurt Angle versus Jinder Mahal. Bell rings and Jinder Mahal takes advantage for a quick pin attempt after a Singh brothers distract Kurt Angle. Jinder works Angle over, taking him to the corner. Jinder keeps Angle grounded. Angle fights out as a USA chant start up. Angle is real slow in this match. As Jinder drops Angle again for a 2 count. Jinder keeps Angle grounded again. Talks trash. They get up and Angle fights back on his feet. Angle with a German suplex. They get up and Angle hits another German. Angle with 2 more German suplexes for a pop for the crowd. Angle knocks the Singh brothers off the apron. Jinder comes from behind with a collar, but Angle avoids it. Angle takes Jinder down into ankle lock for the submission win. After the match, Angle celebrates. As his music hits, Singh brothers try to attack him, but he fights them both off. Singing them back out of the ring. Angle's music starts back up, as he stands tall. Alexa Bliss makes her way out for another edition of A Moment of Bliss on the stage. Her guest will be Intercontinental Champion Finn Balor. We go to back to rehearsal. Back from the break, and Alexa is on the stage for the Moment of Bliss. And she starts by saying, "Bye, Ronda," to Ronda Rousey. Bliss says she never would have disrespected the Raw Women's title like that, and officials know where to find her if they need a new WrestleMania opponent for Charlotte Flair. Bliss brings her guests out, Intercontinental Champion Finn Balor. Bliss welcomes Balor as he thanks her. Balor is dressed to wrestle. She brings up how he won the title by beating Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush in the Elimination Chamber. She congratulates him. Bliss points out how the title covers up Balor's abs, and he needs to just let them breathe. Balor asks if she's trying to make him blush. Bliss wants to make a deal. If Balor shows her his abs, she will show him her and the music interrupts, and out comes Lio Rush to the stage. Rush says this whole talk show is a scam. For sham. He says Balor doesn't deserve to be champion because Lashley does. Fans boo. Balor says if Lashley wants to challenge him for the title, he knows where to find him. Then Rush says Lashley is preparing for Braun Strowman, which means Balor is answering to Rush now. Rush isn't leaving until Lashley gets the title back, even if it means he has to take it from Balor's hands. Balor asks if Rush came to challenge him for the title to prove he's better than Lashley. Rush denies that. Balor says he believes Rush deserves to get the opportunity he's fought hard for. Balor accepts the challenge and says it makes perfect sense because he's pinned Rush for that title. So Rush should get the chance to challenge him back. Rush says he knows what Balor's trying to do here. Balor proposes the match for tonight. Bliss asks if Rush is man enough to do the job by himself. Balor taunts Rush. Rush gets upset and takes a shot at Balor and accepts the challenge. Rush says he's going in the back to prepare, but Bliss informs him that the match is right now. Rush calls for the music to hit, and he heads to the ring in street clothes. He barely makes it down the ramp when Balor's music starts up. We see Bliss heading to the back as Balor gets up from his chair and makes his way to the ring. And the match is up next, and Balor wraps up his entrance as Leo looks on. Back to commercial. Back for the break, we see more happy birthday wishes from the stars to Ric Flair. We also see a video of Miriam Manolis wishing happy birthday to the Nation Boy. We see Titus O'Neil and the Hall of Famer staying backstage at the red carpet area for Flair's 70th birthday celebration. We return to the ring, and the match is starting. They lock up, and Balor takes it to the corner, but Rush avoids the attack. The tangle of Rush takes Balor down. Rush with a drop kick for a 2 count. Balor takes control, and they go to the mat for more back and forth. Rush comes back with a kick and nails Balor in the head. Rush kicks Balor to the floor. Balor comes back and connects with an elbow to the face. Balor stomps away while Rush is down as the referee backs him off. Balor drop kicks Rush back to the floor. Balor looks to leap from the apron, but Rush jumps up and takes his knee out. Rush with a Asai moonsault from the apron. Rush with more offense, including 2 big suicide dives, sending Balor into the barrier, back inside the ring now. Rush goes to the top rope, but Balor gets his knees up off the jump off. Balor runs Rush over. Now as Balor is selling a left knee injury. Balor drops Rush into the corner with a big chop. Balor goes on and hits the sling blade. Balor charges, but Rush charges and kicks the knees out again. Rush goes to work on the knee, taking him down to the mat, working him over while grounded. Rush goes back to stomping on the leg as Rush takes Balor back down and keeps him grounded while fans start chanting for the champion. Rush goes for the leg again, but Balor drops him with an enziguri. Balor with more offense. Rush counters a move as Balor's knees goes out and rolls him up for a 2 count. Rush drops Balor again with a kick to the head for a close 2 count. Rush can't believe Balor kicked out again. Rush lands on his feet from a moonsault attempt, and Balor levels him with a clothesline. Balor lifts to the top, but Rush crotches him. Rush rocks Balor and climbs up for the Frankensteiner. They roll through. Rush heads up with another close 2 count. So they trade more shots in the middle of the ring now as Balor counters the springboard stunner and drives him into the mat with the 1916. Balor goes back to the top and hits a coup de grace for the pin to retain. After the match, referee checks on Balor's leg and hands him the title as the music starts up. We go to replays. Balor poses in the ring and raises the title for a pop from the crowd. Still to come, Strowman versus Lashley. We see Tucker backstage walking. He comes up on the incision and they call him Fresh Meat. They ask where his partner Otis is. They take shots at Otis, and Tucker warns that they better watch what they say because Otis has a big temper. They take more shots at Otis, calling him fat. Tucker says Otis is real sensitive and he does not like to be made fun of. They laugh, and Tucker warns that Otis won't find this funny. Otis appears and asks what's going on. Tucker tells them about the insults and that the ascension was just making. Otis attacks and drops Connor and Victor. Otis stands over them and says, "That's what they get for messing with heavy machinery." Back from a break. Coleslaw shows us a replay of the big opening segment with Roman Reigns. Bobby Lashley is backstage with Leo Rush. And Lashley is furious at the loss of Finn Balor. Lashley just wants to know if he can trust Rush. Rush says he can, but Rush isn't happy either. Bobby Lashley versus Strowman was up next. We go to the ring. Out comes Lashley first, with Rush right behind him. Still selling the loss to Finn Balor. Strowman is out next to a pop. Lashley attacks from behind, beats Strowman down before the bell can ring. Strowman tries to turn around, but Lashley stays on top of him. Lashley clubs Strowman from behind and keeps the attack going. Taking Strowman to the corner, the referee looks on from the outside. Lashley tries for a suplex, but Strowman knocks him away. Strowman runs into an elbow in the corner. Strowman levels Lashley. Strowman charges in the corner with a big splash and then a big blow to the chest. Lashley goes to the corner for a breather as Rush checks on him. Strowman runs around the ring and knocks Lashley over, then Rush. Strowman talks some trash to Lashley and Rush while they are down on the outside. Strowman's music hits as he makes his exit, and we get replays without the match starting. Strowman looks on from the stage. Still to come, Nia Jax versus Bayley. Also Drew McIntyre versus Ambrose in an no DQ match. Charlie Cruz is backstage with Seth Rollins. She asks about the pep in Rollins' step tonight, and he says tonight is fantastic. Rollins says he's been thinking about WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar constantly, and this is the biggest match of his career. He promises he will walk out of WrestleMania 35 as the WWE Universal Champion. Rollins says all that seems almost secondary tonight because his brother is back. Roman Reigns is in remission. Rollins says it's time to celebrate, and he's sure Reigns has a cold beverage waiting for him. Rollins says it's time to go burn it down, but in a different way. He walks off. A limousine pulls up in the back, and out steps Hall of Famer Ric Flair with wife Wendy Barlow. Nature Boy heads to the ring as we go to a Black History Month video and a commercial. Back from a break, we see replays of Becky Lynch's attack and what happened between Ronda and Stephanie. No DQ match, Dean Ambrose versus McIntyre. We go to the ring, and Dean Ambrose was out, ready for a fight. McIntyre was out next. Ambrose attacks McIntyre and beats him around ringside area. They fight into the ring, and then the bell rings. Ambrose mounts Drew in the corner and unloads. They trade big shots on the mat. Now, Ambrose takes the knee out and stalks Drew. Ambrose takes one of his belts off and uses it on McIntyre, but McIntyre drops Ambrose with a big boot. Drew picks up the belt and whips Ambrose around the ring. Ambrose yells out in pain. Drew with more belt shots and a big spine buster for a close 2 count. More back and forth between the two now. As Ambrose sends McIntyre over the top rope to the floor. Drew then rocks Ambrose on a suicide dive and sends him back into the barrier. McIntyre with a suplex on the floor as we go to commercial. Back from the break, Ambrose goes to the top to leap down and rock McIntyre on the floor with an axe handle. We see how Ambrose hit a suicide dive during the break. As McIntyre counters on the floor now and charges, but Ambrose moves and Drew hits the steel ring steps. Ambrose brings it back into the ring for a 2 count. Ambrose with a neck breaker for another close pin attempt. Ambrose smiles as he waits for Drew to get back up. Drew gets up and Ambrose unloads with belt shots. Drew fires back out of nowhere with a Glasgow kiss headbutt. Ambrose ends up down on the outside. McIntyre follows up and takes apart the steel steps. McIntyre charges in with a part of the steps, but Ambrose avoids him, dropping Drew on the floor with a drop toe hold. Ambrose repeatedly slams Drew's head into the steps. Ambrose goes to chop Drew on the top of the steps, but Elias runs down with a guitar shot to the back of Ambrose, making the save for Drew. No DQ match. Match is still going. Elias rolls Ambrose into the ring and turns back to Drew, but backs off when Drew walks on his own. As Drew returns to the ring, waits for Ambrose to get up, Drew nails the Claymore kick and gets a pin to win. After the match, McIntyre stands tall as the music hits. Baron Corbin's music hits. Constipated one starts up as he marches to the ring with Bobby Lashley, Elias, McIntyre, Corbin, Lashley, all enter the ring. They gang up on Ambrose now, taking turns with power moves. The music hits. Out comes Seth Rollins with a steel chair. He waits on the stage. Fans go wild as Roman Reigns makes his way down. Next, joining Rollins on the stage, the Shield has united. Reigns and Rollins march down on the ramp. They take out Lashley and Corbin on the ramp. Reigns dropping Lashley with a Superman punch. They hit the ring and Elias goes down, as does Drew. Lashley comes back for another Superman punch on the apron. Reigns with a big spear to Drew. Reigns Reigns' music hits, and he and Rollins hug in the middle of the ring. Rollins and Reigns exit the ring and march up the ramp together as Ambrose rolls into the ring. Slowly recover to look up at them. Reigns and Rollins stop on the stage and look back at Ambrose in the ring. Still to come, Ric Flair's birthday celebration and Nia Jax versus Bayley. Back to commercial. Back from the break, Cole's on congratulations to The Rock and Paige for the box office success of Fighting With My Family movie. And Bayley versus Nia was up next. We go to ring. Out comes Raw Women's Tag Team Champion Bayley with Sasha. We see a video from their post-match speech at Elimination Chamber after they won the titles. Out next comes Nia with Tamina. Colson confirms that the two teams will face off at Fastlane. The bell rings and Jax ends up dropping Bayley with a headbutt early on. Jax goes out, but comes back in. Bayley with a big hip toss for a 1 count. Bayley looks to mount some offense, but Jax cuts her off and sends her to the floor hard. Back to commercial. Back from the break, Jax continues to dominate Bayley. Jax goes for moves twice, but Bayley rolls out of the way each time. Bayley gets up and focuses on the knee now. Jax goes down face first as Banks cheers her on. Bayley looks to mount more offense, but she stands tall. She stalls some coming out of the corner, and Jax runs her over. Jax stands over Bayley and mocks her now. Jax ragdolls Bayley as we get a replay of Jax crushing Bayley coming out of the corner. Jax then launches Bayley across the ring. Jax uses the ropes on Bayley as referee counts and warns her. Jax keeps Bayley grounded and ragdolls her some more in the middle of the ring. Banks tries to rally the crowd for Bayley. Bayley makes a comeback and unloads with Stomps in the corner. Bayley charges in with a knee and sends Jax out of the ring. Jax comes back to the apron, but Bayley drops her over the middle rope. Bayley with more offense and a drop kick that sends Jax back to the floor. Bayley keeps up the attack as Jax re-enters the ring. Bayley with a big knee in the corner. Bayley comes off the second rope, but Jax catches her mid-move. Jax slams Bayley into the corner and turns her upside down in a tree of woe. Jax charges and crushes Bayley while she's upside down. Jax stomps out. Jackson grabs Banks by the hair and she checks on Bayley. Bayley decks Jax. Stuka runs over, but Banks sends her into the steel ring steps. Bayley goes to the top and hits a big flying elbow drop on Jax for the pin and win. Banks and Bayley celebrate as we go to replays. We see Triple H and Stephanie walking backstage, leading the roster to the arena for Ric Flair's birthday celebration. Back to commercial. Back for the break, the roster is brought out to the stage. Triple H's music hits, and he and Stephanie head to the ring. The ring is set up for the celebration. There's a large cake on the table and a podium with something hidden under a cloth. Triple H talks about how the road to WrestleMania 35 is usually a little more amped up each night. Like tonight, he hypes Roman Reigns' return and welcomes the Reigns back. He mentions how Ronda Rousey laid down the Raw Women's title and issued an ultimatum, and how Becky Lynch went to jail. He says all of that pales in comparison to why we are here tonight, right now, to celebrate the 70th birthday of what he considered the greatest sports entertainer of all time, Hall of Famer Ric Flair. Stephanie introduces some special guests now. Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels is out, followed up by Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Kurt Angle, and finally we get Sting. Triple H says a lot of things have been said about Flair over the years, and there's not a lot more to be said. Triple H says Flair really is a kiss stealing, willing and dealing, styling and profiling, and all the other hype. He leads us to a video package on the Nature Boy's career. Stephanie says Flair is the GOAT and the greatest in their eyes, which is why they created this. She reveals a custom World Heavyweight title belt done for Flair. Triple H goes on to introduce Flair and the music hits, but he's nowhere to be seen. Cameras go backstage and we see Batista dragging a cameraman. He enters Flair's dressing room and slams the door shut. Batista then opens the door again after about 30 seconds, and he's dragging Flair out by his collar. Fans in the arena are booing. Batista looks at the camera and asks if he has Triple H's attention now. Triple H then leaves the ring and heads to the back. Triple H heads to through the back and stop to check on Flair. Producers and referees are checking on him as Triple H yells for medics. Flair cries as they check on him as Raw goes off the air. Dark segment after this week's Raw from State Farm Arena in Atlanta saw Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers interrupt what was left of the birthday celebration from the Hall of Famer Ric Flair. Mahal faced Hall of Famer Sting, Kurt Angle, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and declared that this party was over. And it can be found at this link. The segment ended with Michaels hitting Jinder with sweet Sham music, and then Angle put him through a cake on the table with Angle Sam. Other legends helped take out the Singh brothers, and that's what happened after Raw concluded with the birthday bash. And that concludes my video for this week. So, if you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you. See ya! And thanks again. Peace out. If you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters.